you're enjoying Disney fandom and the adventures I had on the high seas with Captain Jack. Hi, I'm Lee Ehrenberg, and welcome to Once Upon a Time for the fans. Nowadays, I've traded in my sea legs for some shorter ones as Grumpy the Dwarf on ABC's hit series Once Upon a Time, which just finished season 2. I may be hanging out with Snow White, Doc, and Sneezy these days. I never seem to be able to stray too far away from salty old pirates. This season, Captain Hook made his way to Storybrooke. Well, he may not be salty or old, but Colin O'Donoghue sure made all the ladies swoon over his dastardly dashing deeds. Yeah, guys, I hate him too. And here's a special look just for you on Disney fandom from Sincerely Hook, which you can find on Once Upon a Time, the complete second season Blu-ray and DVD.
My first day shooting, and it was on an episode called The Crocodile. I just remember walking down and seeing these sweeping mountains and stuff, and this pirate ship. And I was dressed all in leather, and I went, what am I doing here? I'm making a living doing this, it's crazy. I remember that was my first sort of thought, and then I went, oh, I get to have a sword. This is great. And an actual hook. It was just an amazing moment. I grew up in a small town called Drogheda in Ireland, in County Louth, Ireland. It's on the east coast of Ireland, and I still live there when I'm not in Vancouver shooting the show. And both my mother and father were such huge readers. They always encouraged my brother and I to read a lot. I just remember always reading fairy tales and Grimm fairy tales and stuff as a child growing up. But the first time I heard about Peter Pan and Captain Hook, it was obviously the Peter Pan cartoon, the Disney cartoon. Obviously, Captain Hook in the cartoon is slightly different than the portrayal that we have in Once Upon a Time.
Captain Hook?
Ah, so you've heard of me.
Before I started on the show, I sort of, spent a bit of time researching the Captain Hook of all, not just in the movies, but from the original play. J.M. Barrie's one was something like he was the handsomest man that he'd ever seen, but also incredibly ruthless. And my take on Captain Hook was I wanted him to be quite charming. I wanted him to be the guy that you'd want to go out and hang out with and have a laugh with. I definitely wanted him to be more of the sort of carefree swashbuckler, maybe slight ladies' man, somebody very charming, but the only thing is that he could probably kill you if he wanted to.
I do consider myself an honourable man, a man with a code, so if you truly want your wife back, all you have to do is take her.
Like Killian Jones just sort of lived for the moment, and whatever happened, happened, whereas Hook is more calculated, I think. He wants to find a way to kill the Dark One and get his revenge.
Even demons can be killed. I will find a way.
Impressive.
Isn't he dreamy? Wait, my character's dreamy before I became grumpy. Never mind. While the women of ABC's Once Upon a Time have to deal with the sinister smirk of Hook and the magical mayhem of Rumpelstiltskin, you can't say any of these ladies on the show are typical damsels in distress. Check out this bit from a piece we call Girl Power and see what I'm talking about.
Every kingdom needs a hero, don't you think?
Heaven had no desire to write damsels in distress. We wanted to bring these iconic figures into the present. These are women who stand in front of their men. They don't need saving, they can save themselves.
Girl.
Woman. Fairy tales are incredibly dated. The gender dynamic has definitely shifted, and women are no longer reliant upon men for rights and property and protection and survival in general. Not the jewelry tag.
Indeed, I noticed.
And some of the old fairy tales, they were a lot younger. They're more innocent, more delicate, timid, fearful. Once is not that. I mean, we have our moments when we're afraid, but we really confront all these things.
apart for her. What we loved is she had that Snow White spirit. But when the queen came in and she grabs that sword, you believe she's going to wield it. You believe she's going to stab her.
She's not a queen anymore.
We just knew that our Snow White had to be a woman who wouldn't stand behind her prince.
Step away from my husband.
A lot of, I think, her strength comes from the love she has for her family, for Charming, for Emma, for Henry. That's what gives her the thing she needs to be strong, is having something to fight for.
Stay tuned for more Once Upon a Time for the fans. If you stick around, I'll show a Disney fandom sneak peek of ABC's new show, Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Welcome back to Once Upon a Time for the fans, right here on Disney Fandom. If you've been following the story of ABC's Once Upon a Time for the past 2 seasons, you know that we're constantly discovering more and more characters are related to each other. My character, Grumpy, was hatched from an egg, so you can rest assured that the branches of my tree won't get scrambled up too much. But the roots of some of the other enchanted forest folk are fairly tangled. You can try to put together all of the familial connections of the show in this piece called The Fractured Family Tree, exclusive to the Season 2 Blu-ray.
Family. No matter how close or estranged its members might be, every person is part of one.
Family means everything.
Pretty much everyone in this town is somehow related. Kinda weird. The intertwining branches of a family tree are complicated and tell a story on their own, especially when the tree is rooted deeply in the enchanted forest.
We have quite the family tree now.
Let's take this family, for example. The Charmings. Since they always seem to find each other no matter what world they're in, the roots and branches of their tree weave together to form a convoluted family fairy tale you need a leather-bound book to keep track of. Grandpa?
Suppose so.
Prince Charming, also known as Prince James, who was not really a prince, nor is his name really James, took the place of his twin brother.
James, who is, no longer with us.
And we never met his father, but his stepfather, of course, was King George.
See, King George had made a deal with the boy's struggling mother to let her keep her land in exchange for one of her newborn twins. Luckily for the king, the original James was still under warranty when he met his untimely end. So Rumpelstiltskin had Charming step into his brother's place. In what must have been a shocking turn of events for all, Charming successfully slayed a dragon, saved Midas's kingdom, and won the hand of his daughter Abigail, who was really in love with this guy, who was cursed to be the perfect trophy husband. It all worked out though, since Charming was just not that into Abigail. It was a chance encounter with a thief who happened to be Snow White, who happened to be a princess, but like a real princess, that set Charming on his path toward happily ever after. Snow White was born on a cold winter's day.
Snow's parents are Eva and Leopold.
The books will say Queen Ava was a pinnacle of virtue her entire life, but books are for nerds, and Ava had a history with Cora.
Cora's my stepmother's mother, so she's my step-grandmother. And she was the lover of my grandson's grandfather on the other side.
As the miller's daughter, Cora learned to spin straw into gold, after some sexy instruction from Rumpelstiltskin, of course. Let's keep going. What followed years later was Ava's untimely and not at all mysterious death. Cora poisoned her with magic, which is kind of impossible because magic isn't a poison. Cora then played matchmaker for her own daughter Regina and the bereaved King Leopold. Never mind that Regina was already in love with the smoldering stable boy Daniel.
Did you get all of that? I hope you don't think I would end this piece only teasing the DVD and Blu-ray without giving you something extra. I play grumpy, not stingy. Now here's something special for Disney fandom. This fall, the creators of ABC's Once Upon a Time are taking audiences deeper into a land we've only started to explore on our show, Wonderland. You won't need a top hat or a looking glass to get there this time, because Once Upon a Time in Wonderland comes to you Thursday nights at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central on ABC.
You claimed you traveled to this place, Wonderland, where you fell in love.
I've never met a human quite like you, Alice.
I've never met a genie quite like you.
The two of you traveled from world to world and had miraculous, strange, and terrifying adventures. But no father found you. You said the love of your life was gone. You still cry out for aid in your sleep. We have a new procedure that can take away your pain.
Does it hurt?
Alice, she needs help.
He's alive!
That's impossible.
Nothing's impossible, remember that.
All right, Babbitt, dig your hole.
Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Series premiere Thursday, October 10th on ABC.